Hello, my name is Brian Skiba, and I'll be your narrator for today's slide presentation regarding the book Sparring Nature and the Human Impacts on Biodiversity. Sparring Nature was written by Professor Jeffrey McKee, and it was published back in 2003. Listed below is his contact information where he could be reached at. His area of expertise is hominid evaluation and paleoecology and physical anthropology. Professor McKee has led excavations through South Africa. One of his main interests is computer-based modeling and simulation of both the evolutionary and fossil process. His goals are to better understand both the current pace and causes of human evolution and ecological contact. The purpose for writing the book of Sparring Nature was identified when he observed students were unaware how the explosive growth of human populations has impacted the ongoing problem of mass extinctions of plants and animals across our world. The research and documentation in the book Sparring Nature paints a vivid picture of the fossil record and human evolution over time and our impact on all living things. It has been observed throughout history there is a pattern of decline and a rise in extinctions of plants and animals as human populations have expanded and advancements were observed. In the book, they discuss a term called transitional extinction, which was discussed of how a species can lose certain characteristics of the older species, but that change does not necessarily contribute to a new species. When reviewing the fossil record, Charles Darwin made an interesting analogy that an ecosystem only has so much room and resources available through competition. If outside species are introduced into an ecosystem, species must either adapt or they will face extinction. The theory behind this is called the wedge. If a species in a wedge can drive out other species out of the ecosystem. When reviewing the fossil record, there is a distinct observation with the induction of Homo erectus and the fact that many African animal species started disappearing at an unprecedented rate when the Homo erectus became part of the wedge. The theory is still strongly supported today as human populations and expansions grow, and humans and living creatures compete for needed resources. There's what's called the red list. Currently, the red list has over 41,000 endangered or threatened species. Looking back at historical data, this number has increased by 30,000 species in just 20 short years. Listed here shows the population and the rise of human population growth and the rise of extinctions of species in a 200-year period. Sparring Nature also looks at human advancements. It's at the point when human advancements begin shifting from opportunist to more predatory and agricultural roles. As humans began to colonize, they created crops. This reduced the need for gathering foods. The behavior will ends up leading us into the sixth mass extinction by pushing aside native plants and animals to allow for the humans to take precedence over the land. As humans began to live closer and populations grew and manifested the effects that have on humans, crops, and animals, it aided to the ability to spread diseases to different parts of the world, aided through the navigation of the seas. Europeans brought diseases to Native Americans, which resulted in the death of millions from tuberculosis and other diseases. Human population encroachment has also led to the transmission of zoonotic diseases across humans, plants, wildlife, and domestic animals. Diseases such as RNA viruses, Rift Valley fever, hantavirus, Ebola, and measles have all shown evidence of transmission between different species. In a little over 100 years, the human population has gone from about 1.6 billion people to 7.7 billion people. It has been predicted that the population by the year 2200 will be around 11 billion people. When you think about the amount of human impact we are currently having on the world now, then double that amount of impact. Here shows the human population growth from over 200 years. Final thoughts. If human populations continue to grow at the current rate, so will our losses of biodiversity across our ecosystems. Humans have a moral obligation to prevent the destruction and extinctions across our world and our ecosystems. If humans do not begin to manage ourselves, it is very likely that we will exceed the Earth's carrying capacity at some future point in time. This could actually end up resulting in the own demise of our own species. Only humans have the ability to control damages caused and reduce the growth of habitat fragmentation, which is why we as humans need to control our own population across the entire world for preservation of all species. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you listening to my presentation.